By the time the NHL season ends, maybe the majority of the guys on the screen aren't even Vancouver Canucks anymore. We could be looking at Evander Kane. We could be looking at Jake DeBrusk. We could be looking at Brock Boeser and Elias Pettersson. What about Teddy Bluger? What about Tyler Myers? Oh wait, he's not even on the lineup anymore, at least on Daily Faceoff. We have ourselves a number of Vancouver Canucks trade updates to dive into, and what a calm day it is, because there are a number of NHL games on tap. The Vancouver Canucks are not playing, which opens the door for us to make a video about their trade situation. They are one of however many teams is not playing today. Okay, so there are 12 games on tap today, meaning that there are 8 teams not playing. Vancouver is one of them. And we have a number of things to dive into here, starting with what Thomas Strand said on The Athletic 2 days ago regarding the Canucks and the trade deadline. The Vancouver team is open to listening on everybody, except practically Filip Hronek. Now, I would assume that everybody does not include the prospects. We're not talking about Lekaramaki, we're not talking about Braden Coots, Tom Willander, or even Zeev Buium. That's probably a given, right? Everybody except Filip Hronek. That is quite the intriguing update when you consider the rumors that we had heard from Vancouver's perspective that they might be interested in making Hronek the next captain. Heck, if anybody, I'd say that Tyler Myers was also a pretty good candidate for captain, but it seems like he just can't leave Vancouver. Not even to Detroit or otherwise. But that said, the Filip Hronek conversation is more interesting than ever before because it does not seem like Vancouver has any appetite to move on from him and his services. They want him on the team. He is the best defenseman on the team now with the departure of Quinn Hughes. And if they're interested in trading anybody except for Phil Hronek, that will very much illustrate the direction they want to go. You have Ethan going out there and saying, hey, why are they putting so much importance on Hronek? The guy's not even Canadian, among many other reasons. What does nationality have to do with this? Very fair point, Iceman. I agree. Furthermore, you had yourselves Darren Dreger on Insider Trading today saying that Brock Boeser's name is out there too. He is willing to move on if there is a fit that makes sense. He just signed a 7-year deal with the Vancouver Canucks. And what's super unfortunate about Brock is the fact that we all knew that this guy, in his heart of hearts, he wanted to stay in Vancouver. That was his main priority. The unfortunate part was Vancouver wasn't giving him any offers last season, and with all the conversation about Patrick Allvin being a little too harsh on Brock, saying that the guy could have scored 50 goals when he had scored 40, and then kind of disrespecting Brock in the media last year after the trade deadline in 2025. There were a number of conversations that we had saying, hey, like, if Brock Boeser wanted to leave, he would honestly have pretty good reason to. I mean, they traded away the top center that he played with. They're disrespecting him in the media. He's not really appreciated anymore. And then it's like, oh, wait, never mind. Brock actually just really wants to stay in Vancouver. Even with all that stuff happening, his heart was with this city. Now, hearing that he would be open to a move if there's a fit that makes sense after signing a 7-year deal, that really goes to show you just how bad the Vancouver Canucks have been this season, where even Brock Boeser is like, okay, I can move on. If you really wanted me to move on, if you need to make this trade work, if you wanted to get younger, I understand, I'll go to a new team. Heck, maybe Brock goes to Minnesota again. Maybe he goes and plays with his good old buddy pal Quinn Hughes. Who knows if that's actually a possibility here. But Brock, open to a fit if it makes sense here. Take a look at what Chris Johnston said on Tyler Myers. He says the Red Wings made a trade offer for Myers this week. However, Detroit is not a place Myers wants to go to at this point in time. The Stars have interest in him as well, and Johnston believes that Myers would like to play there. So, Tyler Myers' trade talk continues to run rampant after we made a video talking about how he essentially mold his decision over going to Detroit. Doesn't seem like that decision has been confirmed at this point in time. And then you also had yourselves Sakaris with the updated reports list over here. Jake DeBrusk, as we had mentioned earlier in today's show, would welcome a trade. Brock Boeser is in play. Elias Pettersson is considering a fresh start. Evander Kane is desperate to bolt his hometown, and Tyler Myers just can't quit Vancouver. Petey, yes, Petey. Let's go over to TSN Insider Trading. The Canucks are listening to offers on Boeser, Pettersson, and others. That was mentioned earlier this afternoon as well by the likes of Darren Dreger, Pierre LeBrun, and Chris Johnston. All speculation, of course, even though none of these guys are technically doctors. But with that said, seems like the Vancouver Canucks core of guys could all be up and away gone by this time next year, if not this time 2 weeks from now. If Jake DeBrusk ends up going back over to Boston or Detroit, if Tyler Myers has the guts to go over to Motown and decides to send himself over there too, then okay, he could be a Red Wing. Elias Pettersson was linked to the Red Wings too. Brock Boeser, maybe he goes over to some other team that needs a winger. LA could use him. Evander Kane, Colorado, Tampa Bay, Dallas. Maybe Tyler Myers double dips with Kane in Dallas as well. And I will say as well, like the way it's phrased here, Evander Kane desperate to bolt his hometown, maybe that's a little misleading here. We did see the comments that Evander Kane made about Tyler Myers saying, oh, it's really nice to have him in the room. He's a veteran. He's an old guy. He's one of these other Canadian guys. It sucks to potentially see him go, stuff like that. I mean, there are a number of replies that are pretty cynical about it. Nobody wants to be here. Does Evander Kane not want to be here after getting traded to his hometown? I don't know. Good job, Rutherford and Alvin. You've made this franchise less attractive than Jim Benning. I honestly would not disagree with that, to be fair. It's just the Vancouver Canucks were making such boneheaded decisions under Benning. It's at least easier to see the vision with this current management. For Benning, it was like, they just really wanted to contend every year. Now this year, at least they're getting everything put into place to rebuild. I really hope something big happens, Dominic Sardine says. I'm ready for some trades. So with all that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about these trade ideas over here. There are a number of teams that would make sense for all of these guys. And I'm just sitting here thinking, man, if the Vancouver Canucks end up trading away an entire line's worth of guys, and then they trade away Brock, and then they trade away Teddy Bluger, and then they trade away, I don't know, Myers, and then they trade away everybody else, like this team could be looking so different. That's not even including the Connor Garland conversation, which is a very real conversation too. This could be a brand new Canucks team, and they could hopefully put themselves in a good spot to tank for Landon DuPont next year. The best WHL player at 16 years old since freaking Scott Niedermayer 30-something years ago. Like, Vancouver could use a player like that. They could. They could use a McKenna right down there on their forward core with Braden Coots and Lekaramaki. They could use a Landon DuPont. They could grab multiple firsts. They could grab a whole bunch of stuff and get prospects and build for the future and then contend in 2038. That seems like the timeline for the Vancouver Canucks at the very least. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about all these trade updates. What are your thoughts on Phil Hronek not being included in trade talks, Elias Pettersson potentially being shopped too, Brock Boeser potentially welcoming a change of scenery, thoughts on Tyler Myers and Dallas? I hope you enjoyed this British Irish Roll 9, and bye.